Okay, you know what time it is. It's the moment we've all been waiting for. The series finale, Obi-Wan Episode 6. Let's get it. Okay, so the positives. All right. The overwhelming, most positive part about this episode was the fight between Obi-Wan and Darth Vader. That was the pivotal moment of the episode. Obviously the pivotal moment of the season. It was great. We got to see some great use of force ability. You know, Obi-Wan throwing the rocks. He got his swag back. Darth Vader had him trapped down in that pit. He said, nah, man, I'm about to come back and do this. That was good. That moment signified the exact moment where Obi-Wan finally overcame his mental turmoil, his physical turmoil as well, and made it back to being a full-fledged OG Jedi. It was a great moment. That fight definitely stands out as the best moment of the episode. It had some issues. It did have some issues, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Also, it gave Hayden Christensen his true nod for the possible best actor of the series. We'll get into that later as well. Okay, the second most dope appearance. The reappearance of Liam Neeson, aka Master Qui-Gon Jinn. How dope was that? Yo, who doesn't love a good Liam Neeson appearance? And that's exactly what happened. He was in full regalia, had the ponytail, looking like a player. It was good. It was a solid moment. It was something we needed in the Star Wars universe. It's an event that we know happened when Obi-Wan goes off to learn Force Ghost. So we finally saw like the exact lead up to that moment. That was really cool. Okay, lastly, Obi-Wan leaving the cave in his fresh, new, clean, white suit. One of the best moments of the episode. I already thought it was clean enough when he showed up on the white robes, the white linen. I was like, yo. Man, this is a player. He completely got his swag back. But when he walked out of that cave, he looked at that stuff. He was like, I don't need that. And just walked out. Man, I got so happy. I got so happy for him. Because that moment was the final conclusion of everything that happened in the whole series. He got over his mental struggles, physical struggles. He got over the past. He literally moved on. And that moment, summed it up perfectly. So that was the last positive moment of the episode. The whole episode, it was full of positives, but positive moments. Okay, room for improvement. All right. Although this episode was great, series finale, it was strong. It had some strong moments. It definitely also had some room for improvement, and we're going to get into that. Okay, that opening Star Destroyer scene, come on, man. Come on, what was up with that? It couldn't hit that cargo ship? Like... That scene was a case for the decommission of the Star Destroyer. It was a little too much. And I know they like to throw these scenes in there, like the Ant-Man rolling head and Miss Marvel breaking the steel cable. That little computer that Bruno had that showed like her internal body energy. Come on, like what was that? But yeah, I know I like to throw those little comedic elements in sometimes, but the Star Destroyer with all its guns, it's called a Star Destroyer. It's like a battleship. It just couldn't hit that cargo ship. I was like, okay. When Obi-Wan left Leia for the third time, like, bro, come on! Him leaving her twice up to that point is literally what caused him and the rest of the people on that ship to be in the position they were in that moment. Like, this time, just stay with her. Just stay with her. Just stay with her. You're guarding the kid. He's trying to fix the drives. You're this close. Everyone on the ship was like, you don't have to go, because you don't. But he ended up going anyway. Obi-Wan, man, interesting character. Okay, so when they cut to Reva attacking Luke like the family of Luke, Owen missed. Like, he had her dead to rights with the rifle, like with her back turned. He just missed. That was a little weird. It's just a weird moment. Like, come on now. Come on. Okay. Now, cutting to the Darth Vader battle. Obviously, it was the standout moment of the episode, one of the standout moments of the series, and by extension, one of the standout moments of the Star Wars continuum. Because this series had multiple moments that were easily the best moments in the entire Star Wars franchise. Hands down. Like, specifically anytime Darth Vader showed up. But this series, it had the moments. So, this moment was one of the best ones in the series, and by extension, the whole franchise. But they showed Obi-Wan overpowering Vader, so take that for what you will. So Obi-Wan's stronger than Vader? Okay. But we're not going to get into that. It's not really a plot hole. It's just like a question mark. However, when he beat Vader up and had him like, you know, gasping for air, lightsaber out, like, yo, man, I can go Highlander on you, just cut your head off right now, like, and he just didn't. Okay, see, they took a little too far with that. And to add a little more salt on it, it was after he admitted that he wasn't Anakin anymore. I mean, he is Anakin. He knows him as Anakin. He found him as a kid in the desert, my G. Like, this is his homeboy, like proto son, kind of, you know, brother, but maybe even like his little son, his kid. So he remembers all that, but he was like, you know, he's like, all right, Darth, and still at that moment he's like, nah, I'm just not gonna do anything about this. That introduces some actual problems, but the thing about it is, it speaks more to the condition of the mid-quel, and I'll get into that in a second. We're gonna get into that. Okay. And finally, the scene where Leia greets Lola instead of Obi-Wan when he shows up on the planet. Like, he's standing there, the robot's there, and she's like, Lola! Like, how messed up was that? But to Leia's credit, maybe she was tired of Obi-Wan leaving her. Left her on the ship for the third time. She was like, you know what? I'm going to greet Lola. So, I don't know. I might give her a pass for that. But no, that moment was like genuinely kind of bizarre in the context of the episode and the series. After everything that happened, like all that, he shows up with the fresh suit. Beard was manicured, was cut. And she's like, Lola. I actually felt for Obi-Wan in that moment. That was cold, man. That was cold. But you know, she came around, gave him a little hug in the end, so I guess that was all right. But just another little weird kind of moment. Okay, so the rating. So I went in a little bit. You're like, oh, I'm probably going to give it, dock at some points. Maybe a little 4 or 3. Nah, man. This episode gets a 5 out of 5. An easy 5 out of 5. It was great. It wrapped up the series with style, with gusto, some might say. They had another square off between Darth Vader and Obi-Wan. You know, we got to see literally Obi-Wan crawl from the caves, from the darkness, in a dirty suit to a white suit. That man was clean at the end of this series. He got it. It took him a while, but he overcame every obstacle in his way. Mental, physical, and, you know, like environmental, the outside stuff. It took him a second, but he got there, and he overcame every obstacle, you know, to move on. And like Qui-Gon Jinn said, you couldn't see me because you weren't ready to see me. By the end of the series, he was ready. He did everything he was asked to do. And yeah, we got to see, again, some of the dopest moments in the whole Star Wars franchise with Darth Vader. If he shows up on screen, you know what it is. This was an easy 5 out of 5. The episode was great. You know, I got some things to say about it, but it was a great episode. So the series rating. So it's over now. We're 6 episodes in, now it's time to move on to the next thing. What does the series itself get? A 4 out of 5. It gets a 4 out of 5. Because it was great. Cinematography, so clear, crystal clear. You know, shout out to whatever cameras they were using. The action, some of the best action in the whole Star Wars franchise. This is the most we've seen of Darth Vader actually like moving around other than any property. Bless you, in the entire Star Wars series. It was great. The reason it doesn't quite go to a 5 is because it didn't really push anything per se. It did what it needed to do. But it did it well, so it gets a 4 out of 5. Okay, so you know at the end of every production, like full thing, whether it be a movie or a series, I also got to but crown the best actor. So here we are. In this case, best actor goes to Ewan McGregor. He did the thing, man. He played Obi-Wan with style. It was smooth. The character arc was compelling. Like, you felt it. It was good. It was very good. The only person who really gave him a run for his money and who I almost gave it to was Hayden Christensen, because, man, I mean, that character of Anakin / Darth Vader, he just has it down. And in the scene where they were on the planet fighting and Obi-Wan breaks the mask and like they show, you know, Anakin's face, the Sith eye, and he's like, bro, just that moment alone, I almost gave him best actor. Like, I really did, because it was just the emotion of that scene. That's real acting. The man Hayden's got the skills, man. Like, that was real acting. It was really good. And yeah, he almost got it, but I got to give it to Ewan McGregor. He held the whole series down. He's a leading role, you know, not candidate, but he can definitely hold a leading role. He did it here, and he gets the crown for this show. He does. That being said, all the actors were good. They were all good. Moses Ingram, Han, Lil Leia, the Grand Inquisitor. They were all dope. Everyone held it down. But that's what Disney does. That's what Marvel does. They assemble a ring of top tier actors and just put them together. Much like the Avengers. Okay. Now. Okay. We're going to get to the main issue of the show. But it's more of an issue with a style of media rather than the show itself. Okay. I call this the Mid-quel Syndrome. Mid-quel Syndrome. Okay. Now, going back to the first review, my first episode review of the series, a mid-quel is a type of production that is made between two other, basically, bookends in the series. And between those bookends, the producers can do anything they want as long as at the end it resets to the way the next part in the series begins. You can do anything. And as I've seen with this series, they will do anything. So the issue with mid-quels are that they take away the stakes, okay? It reduces the series to kind of a zero stakes scenario because you literally know how it's going to end. You know how it's going to end, but like actually. Okay, so let's see how they wrap this series up in order to, satisfy the mid-quel element and take it into the next series, because they did, okay? There were 5 parties that had to have their behaviors / attitudes set going into the next chapter. And those parties are Obi-Wan, Anakin, Leia, Reva, and Luke's family. So let's see how they did each one of them. Obi-Wan, all right? He got his swag back and went off to learn Force Ghost with Liam, with my man Neeson, so he's good. And Owen let him meet Luke. So the fact that they know each other at the beginning of A New Hope makes sense. He's actually Uncle Ben by that point. He lives off in the desert, comes around sometimes, he knows who he is. So Obi-Wan's story was more or less wrapped up, except for the fact that he knows a lot of characters, like Tara, I believe her name was, who got shot in the chest back in the tunnels, just doesn't ever bring her up again. So, that's the issue with mid-quels. But his actual movements are set. Darth Vader. I'm going to save this one for last because it's the most over the top. Next is Leia, okay? She knows who Obi-Wan is. He saved her. He saved her life. Had a whole little Keen and Kel adventure together. She knows what a Jedi is. She knows. But in a little convo between her and Obi-Wan in front of the ship with Lola, he's like, hey, don't tell anybody. And she's like, all right. Okay. Just for your whole life, just don't bring none of this up. Okay. Never met Obi-Wan. Who is that? And again, at the beginning of New Hope, as I alluded to in another video, the Your Only Hope Obi-Wan, the implication is that she just heard about him. Like, she doesn't even know who he is. But she knows she's been told he's out there. And you are the only person that can help us. But no, she actually knows who he is, what he can do. And he probably is their only hope. But she actually knows him. So, okay. Reva. She's gone on to find a new life, and who she wants to be now is up to her, okay? Even though she's a trained Sith, she can use the Force. She's pretty strong, too. But now she's out of the game because she's found a new life, so she has no part in any of this, okay? Luke's family, all right? Owen allowed Obi-Wan to meet Luke, so that lines up with the beginning of Episode 4. He knows who he is. But they still live in the exact house, in the exact desert, on the exact planet where they've been hunted down at this point multiple times, and anyone can just come find them, take Luke out the game, any of them. But they stay there. Okay, but they're there. It lines up with the beginning of A New Hope. They're there, but should they be? Okay, and last but not least, the most over the top one is Darth Vader. Okay, so as we saw at the end, when he's chatting it up with Sheev on the hologram, he literally just lets it go. He just lets it go. Because Sheev's like, hey man, your head's a little clouded by this. Maybe, but that still doesn't change the fact that Order 66 is alive and well, and it was originated by Sheev on the hologram. So he's like, I know you know where Obi-Wan is. He's probably on Tatooine, your home planet actually. You fought him multiple times by this point. All you gotta do is fix your suit up. He already had his suit fixed up, actually. He was looking clean. He had the clean suit. So he had his suit fixed up. Just go find him again. Bring your homeboys. We can do this. We can do this. He's like, nah, man. I only serve you. I ain't even think about Obi-Wan no more. Okay. To say this decision doesn't make any sense is putting it very lightly. But let's just look at how it worked out. So as we all know, Obi-Wan eventually, after he learns Force Ghost, been chilling out in the desert for a little bit longer, he reconnects with Luke when he's of age. He's like, hey, my G, you're a Jedi. He informs him of his Jedi heritage, tells him he has the Force, gives him, in a box, Anakin's blue lightsaber. He gives him the lightsaber. Told him about Yoda, okay, out there in the swamp. And we know how everything played out from there. These events literally led to the end of the Galactic Empire. With no question. Like that, it was a chain of events that led to the end of the Empire. So, yeah. What are you going to say, though? What are you going to do? This is less an issue with this series than it is with mid-quels in general. It's just a mid-quel issue. Because they can put anything in there, and then the writers are tasked to, like, just wrap it up so it resets to the end. But it makes it kind of crazy. It makes it a little crazy. The thing is with mid-quels is that it's hard to say that I'll stop watching them because they manage to sprinkle in some good moments in there. They draw you in. That's the whole thing. They draw you in. Rogue One has one of the dopest Darth Vader and by extension moments in the Star Wars continuum when he appears on the ship and starts fighting the dudes with a lightsaber in the hallway. I can go watch that right now. It's crazy. We all know that moment is crazy. But they sprinkle it in there so, you know, there's something in Rogue One, something exciting. And this series itself has at least 5 or 6 of the dopest moments in all of Star Wars, all including Darth Vader. So, I mean, it's worth a watch just because of that. And Obi-Wan's clean suit at the end, looking too clean. But see, the issue with mid-quels is that what they're doing is, and I'm not trying to get political or into like, you know, capitalism or businesses. They're pulling at your heartstrings so that you'll watch the show. That's the whole draw. That's why this is happening. Your emotional investment in the characters is what makes you watch. But they can, and I've seen with the series, they will put anything in there in the middle. They'll put anything in there. And you know, you're going to watch. But because the next chapter is already set, like literally whatever's coming next, they have to reset it to that point. There's no stakes. There's not just low stakes, 0 stakes. There's no stakes. You know, it's going to end. To see the ending, just go to the beginning of the next chapter. That's how it ends. That's literally how it's going to end. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm going to wrap it up like this. Remember a few years back when there was this trend in the movie industry of splitting a book into multiple films? Remember that? It started, most famously, or infamously, however you want to put it, with Harry Potter Part 7. Now, I love those movies, all of them. Harry Potter Part 7, Part 2 is actually my favorite movie of all of them. Great film. Love all the books. But splitting a single book into 2 films, you know, I guess people can come back and watch the next one next year. It's a bit much. They did it with Mockingjay as well. I don't watch Hunger Games, but I know that they split that movie up into 2 parts. Maybe 3, but I believe it was 2. But what happened before Mockingjay, and was the most egregious, the most over the top, was splitting The Hobbit, into 3 separate films. That was it. That's actually what stopped the trend, I believe. Because Lord of the Rings, Hobbit is the thinnest book in the entire series, out of Lord of the Rings, Two Towers, and Return of the King, by a long shot. And they fit each of those books into a single film in the Fellowship of the Ring franchise. So we know that they can fit large amount of books. Do they have to cut stuff out? Sure, but they can fit a large book into a single movie. They did it 3 times, but they managed to split The Hobbit into 3 films. If you'll notice, they don't really do that anymore. They don't. And I think the word got around. They're like, yo. I was saying we have in the black community, y'all need to stop playing. Stop playing. Like, Come on, man. Inflation. People out here working hard for their dollars. You know, splitting up movies over multiple years. Books, into movies over multiple years so people can just watch them. Relax. Just relax. And yeah, they don't really do that anymore. So yeah, just take that for what it's worth. It's that's all I've got to say about mid-quels. I'm gonna wrap it up right there. Okay. This is a great show. It was a great show, man. Got to see Ewan McGregor back in the robes, Hayden Christensen back on screen. That's what's up, man. Like, that's what's up. The whole Darth Vader effect, man. It was good. It was a nice little walk down Star Wars lane. And like I said, the cinematography was great. They put a lot into it, and it showed. And yeah, man, it was a great show. Okay. So I will definitely be excited for the next Star Wars property. I'm always excited for anything Star Wars, of course. Non-mid-quel version. Some little dust in here. But just whatever it is, you know, I'm ready for that. So I'll be excited for that. I got y'all on Miss Marvel tomorrow. Don't sleep. That show is OP. Dope. We all know it is. So I got y'all on that tomorrow. The review of episode 3. So be on the lookout for that. Thor comes out here in 2 weeks. Almost out, man. Looks like they put a whole lot of effort into this movie. And now that Marvel and Disney have fixed their trailer issue, starting way back with Thor Ragnarok, the thing about it is, bless you again, we actually have no clue what this movie is really going to be about. You can watch the trailer now, but when you go in there, man, I'm telling you, they did it with Multiverse of Madness. We actually don't know what this film is even about. And I'm glad to see they brought that back. It makes me very, very happy. And I'm stoked for this film. And that's it. Okay? I'm in the H. So you know what I'm going to say. Keep holding it down. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. Peace.